Welcome to Jolene's Books and Writers Talk. I'm your host, Jolene McFadden, and this podcast is sponsored by Southern Dragon Publishing. Today, I'm excited to share my conversation with North Florida author Lynn Westhoff, a remarkable woman who traded 21 years of Army nursing and 31 years in healthcare for the enchanting world of fantasy romance writing. At 64, Lynn proves it's never too late to chase your dreams as she discusses her debut novel, Chronicles of a Time Bound Warrior. The challenges of indie publishing, her thoughtful approach to AI tools in writing, and how she's building a trilogy that weaves fantasy elements with historical events from the Inquisition. From navigating marketing hurdles to creating audiobooks with the help of her gaming community, Lynn's journey offers inspiration and practical insights for writers at any stage. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And now let's dive into this fascinating conversation with Lynn Westhoff.
My name is Lynn Westhoff. I have done 21 years of service with the Army as an Army nurse. I am retired from that now. I've also served as a surgical ICU clinical leader as well as a nurse for 31 years. And I have always loved fantasy, paranormal romance. And I just decided to, after my sister challenged me, to write my first book. And it's Chronicles of the Time-Bound Warrior. And I have a lot to learn when it comes to this and have done a lot of research. It's very different. I have been published before, but it has been in medical nursing journals, which is much different. It's research. But fiction is so much more fun. I really enjoy writing fiction. The storytelling of it is a joy. So, this particular book, what I really wanted to focus on was time's repeating itself. If you think a little bit about what we're going through right now with a lot of turmoil and change, kind of history, like I said, repeats itself. So I wanted to take a fantasy world and immerse it along with history, the Inquisition, and there's quite a bit of persecution, there's power, there's greed, there's a lot of things going on during that time frame that mimics some of the things we see now. And so I weave the story in and out with a little bit of those historical facts. And it's really about valor. It's about protecting the weak. It's about standing up against what's wrong and fight for what's right.
So I take you're traditionally published.
No, I am an indie author.
You are excellent. And which program do you like best, or are you just on one of them? KDP, Ingram Sparks, Drafted Digital, another.
Right now, I went with Amazon since I'm new, KDP, but I published on Barnes and Noble, Apple, Google, Ingram Spark. So you can find my book on any of those areas as well.
Are you working on the second book, or is this a series?
Yes, thank you for asking. It is a trilogy, and the second book, I'm already in the editing phase now, and it is Flames of Rebellion. They go back to where she started from, actually, to help the dragons. They are also fighting against persecution. And so the story kind of picks up there. And the third book is War of Realms. And that is a much bigger, broader, kind of catastrophic fight. That one I haven't started yet, but I have my ideas on how that's going to tie into the other two. But 2025, we should see the second book coming out.
Are you a member of any of the Sci-fi Fantasy National Writers Group?
No, actually, I'm not yet.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
I couldn't remember if they have an earning quota like the mystery writers do, but they probably have a reader section or a newbie section, I would imagine. And are you a member of a local writers group? And if so, which one?
Yes, the Writers Alliance of Gainesville. I'm a member of that. I am a member of the Romance of America National Organization. I haven't been to one of their conferences yet, but I'd like to when they come back towards the East Coast a little bit more. So that's pretty much where I'm at as far as those go.
Not to toot my own horn, but we have the First Coast Romance Writers Group in Jacksonville, and they do Zoom conferences every Saturday. So if you would like a more local group, they used to be chapter of RWA, but they split off after RWA had all those terrible problems that they're slowly fixing. But they're still a nonprofit, and they do a national romance writers fiction awards every year. They've been doing that for 12 years. So if your book was published in 2024 and it's a romance leaning fantasy, by all means, I hope you participate in that too.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting.
They're a very nice group of ladies. And we're building up a good writer's resource site and all that fun stuff. So if you don't mind, I ask you, which county do you live in?
Alachua.
Because I wanted to include you in my North Florida Writers by County booklet that I send out to all the local libraries so that they can develop local author events in the future. They appreciate it.
That sounds great.
So I'll include you in that. So my next question is, as a newly penned author, what have you found to be the most difficult of being a fiction writer?
Good question. There's a lot. I guess initially I just sat down to my laptop and I did the book in a month because I knew what I wanted to do with it. When I started researching, I realized just how much I did not know when it came to being an indie author. I did research being with a publication company versus indie, and I just feel like it's an easier way for new authors to be seen. I'm not exactly a spring chicken, so I can't wait 20 years for a publishing company to maybe come around and decide they're interested. I just felt like this was a good place to start as far as being an indie author. But I knew nothing about marketing and advertising. Just stepping back into the writing, learning that I had to format it a certain way, and yet all the various different things that come into play to actually being able to put it on Amazon and them accept it. So I had to learn all of that. Wasn't hard, it just was time consuming. And then when it came to the marketing and advertising, I threw up my hands and I was like, okay, I'm totally out of my realm now. I'm not sure that I can do this. I'm going to need a little bit of help because I really didn't have a social media following already. I had a lot to learn with that. And so I did hire a company to help me with that because everything that I have read, I watched a ton of YouTube videos and I've read everything to get my hands on, but it was really obvious that there's a lot of people that can take advantage of indie authors when it comes to this if you're not careful. So I tried to be careful, find the right company, and then I put it in their hands. And I said, teach me as we go. I don't know where to start. So they've been very helpful in making sure that my book will get seen because you can write something that's fun to read that people might like, but if they don't know about it, it's just going to sit there with thousands and thousands of other books. So that was the thing I found most challenging was making that decision. Rather than trying to do it all on my own, I could do the other on my own, but I really couldn't do the marketing and advertising on my own. So that was the thing that stopped me, that I had to reach out for professional help.
Are they going to get you on other social medias?
Yes, we'll be on a lot of them. There's going to be a big push coming up in the next couple of weeks for probably 2 or 3 months. Very big push in all forms of media that are out there. I also just did an interview with Spotlight Network TV, and that reached 12.7K viewers in one day. And that hit all of the major networks. And they reached out to me, which was really nice. I have that. And then, of course, we'll be doing the Facebook ads, the Amazon ads, and then, of course, all of the others. This particular company I'm with, they actually make the artwork for your book, different ones, and then they'll be pushing that through. So I really am focusing on trying to get seen at least the most on Amazon because that's where I'm starting. So I want to make sure that we put out quite a bit of advertising there as well. But all the big networks and all the big areas will be in.
The reason why I ask is because a lot of indie authors are trying to do it themselves. So they're trying to select social media platforms where their genre is more popular. And of course, TikTok is probably one of the biggest ones, but because of its problems right now. The government's
Mhm.
trying to destroy them. We're
Yes.
searching for another platform to build up, and you're in a good position starting out. So I was wondering which ones they recommended you concentrate your efforts on, such
Mhm.
as Substack is a really good one, and Blue Sky is being built up, but I didn't know which ones they recommended to you.
Like I said, the typical one, the ones from I had a press release distribution that was put out as well by the Spotlight Network that went to 1,000 different media venues for publishing. And then as well as multiple AP News, Google News, Apple Books, Google Bookstore. The list went on for all the big major ones.
Now,
And then the
that's
Spotlight.
that's straight out publicity. That's not building an author platform on a particular social media.
I really, at this point in time, I'm looking at the major two, Facebook, Instagram. I don't really know if that's going to be the best bang for my buck, but I did TikTok. I like their book talk, all of those things, but I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be around long. So hopefully there'll be another something similar to that on whatever next platform takes over for TikTok. I'd be interested in something like that as well because they reach such a massive audience. So I think those will probably be my big three.
That's good to know. Now, what is the thing that you like best about being a fantasy fiction writer?
Being able to use your imagination, you don't have to do a lot of research, but just being able to come up with a story. I love just sitting down and typing in the morning, and all of a sudden you're going one way and you're like, oh, if I did this, that might really change things up and make this more interesting. So I really like that part of writing that you can make it whatever you want. And in research, et cetera, especially nursing and medical, it's very different, very strict, very limited in having that artistic ability. So I really like using that in the storytelling. It's my favorite part.
All right. How do you feel about the new AI tools that are coming out?
I understand both sides totally. But at the same time, I feel like it's not going away. So we have to do other people are doing, and that is how do I integrate but not lose my voice? So to
Right.
me, I think it's you use it as a tool. You don't use it to write your book, but you use it as a tool. Hey, here's my chapters, make an outline for me. Or
Right.
simple things. Hey, because I'm a new writer, did I maintain everything in third voice or am I out of first and third voice constantly, which I do? Things like that can help people who, especially indie authors who don't have a lot of money to constantly pay a lot of money for editors. I had my book cover done on Fiverr. A lot of the YouTube videos were like, oh, you need to cover super important. I understood that. And 700, $1,000. And I'm like, I can't afford that. So I went to Fiverr and found this wonderful artist from Croatia, and she charged me $100 for my cover and did a fabulous job, graphic artist. But I think we can find ways to afford to do these type of things as an indie author, but AI is going to help us. I don't think you have to lose your writing ability, but you can make it better with its help and make it cheaper, especially the indie authors. We can't afford everything. And they coming out with these AI assistants. I don't even know what that's about now, but even that sounds like interesting if they can help you with social media. I'm not sure how that works, but I'd like to look into it because I'm like, wow, it's like having a secretary who's keeping track of all of that and making sure your posts are getting done or whatever. I don't even know if that's how it works, but again, it's a tool. So I think if we do that way, I do not like books that are written by AI. We can all tell it right away. They
Yes.
just aren't authentic. So we don't want to go down that road, even if it gets better, because I think storytelling is a human thing, but AI can help us. But that's how I feel.
Okay. Your genre, what is the age range just generally?
Usually for young females, anywhere from 20 to, I still read them and I'm 64.
As an adult,
It's an
okay.
adult.
If you could live in your fantasy world for a day or a weekend, would you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think
What do
I'd
you
want to come out.
I know, you gotta live in the world. Have you created your world Bible yet?
I'm not sure what that means.
Most fantasy writers, they have to build a world because it's not, generally, it's not of the earth. So you have to create your own language, your own
Right.
mores, your own demographics, the lands and the cities, the
Hmm.
rules of the game and the laws. And that's just something they consider their Bible.
Oh,
And
I
some
got you.
people use like software to do it. Some
Mm.
people put it in a spreadsheet. It helps them keep centered in the not accidentally do something.
Actually, I have a book that I use. I can show you here in a minute if you're interested, but I get it off the Levenger and it puts everything together in one binder for you for your entire book. And you can use it for each book. For my world building, I looked for inspiration. I'm a gamer as well, and I already have some ideas of fantasy worlds from some of that. And then I go and I look for pictures for ideas as well. And then I sit down and I write based off of my imagination and then some of that feeding into it. It wasn't too hard in the first book because it wasn't a lot about Eldora, the place that she's from. It was more on the Earth realm in the Inquisition time, medieval times. So it wasn't quite as difficult as far as the world building went. My second book, I'm having to do more, obviously, because they're back in her world, which is different. But this book helps me a lot because it keeps the names of your characters, your world building, everything in one section for you. I find it super helpful. Can you see this? Okay.
So it's a spiral bound thing. Well, yeah. Writing workbook. All right. I'll have to look that up.
It is really super, super helpful. And it has basically everything. It lists your genre, your theme, your working title, your endings, your point of view, protagonist, antagonist, supporting characters, other characters, names, setting, plotting your story, storyboards, final thoughts. And what I really loved is it provides you with a nice fold out for your plotting as well as story sheets. So it's really helpful, your storyboards. So it's easy for you to be able to keep track of what you're doing. But I just really like it. And then they also give you a tracking for your chapters as well. That's a really nice fold out for you. So
Okay.
it's another way for you to be able to track everything that just folds out nicely.
Physical copy of Scrivener.
Yes, yes. I love Scrivener and I wanted to use it, but it was not an easy program for me to learn. And I didn't have the patience, honestly, to spend the time on learning it. I think it's a fabulous program. I just wish it was easier to work. Maybe it is for people who are more savvy about that, but that didn't work for me. And I'm a
Well,
paper
everybody
person.
learns differently and
Yeah.
processes data differently. You have to be a certain mindset to do it that way. And yours is more physical,
Yes.
apparently. Everybody has their own thing. Are
Yeah.
you putting some of that backlog of information on your website for your fans?
Meeting, backlog.
Part of social media and getting an audience is giving your fans information about your process.
We were saying,
Oh, yes, about your social media. Whenever you decide on the platform that you want to start engaging, which you really should go ahead and start doing, whatever your company is deciding to do. But Instagram is not a good place, to be honest, for writers to engage with their potential readers in the future. It's a good place if you're very picture oriented, creating graphics and all. That's what it's good for. You can take quotes from your book and put it on a surrealistic
mhm,
background and get people interested. Say this is from so and so, quotes, that sort of thing. But like TikTok or Blue Sky or even Substack, which is becoming a writer's haven, finding readers, you want to share with them your writing process, how you created your character, what quirks this character you came up with, some things you were aware of and how you built this world. It's just a peek into your process and the world they're going to love in the future.
Gotcha.
So it's
Yeah,
something to think about.
I started a blog on my website, and I have
Good.
3 things there that kind of described my process of learning basically how to write fiction. And I shared that with everyone on my website. So my intention was to use that as a method. I really want to drive people as much as I can to the website. So that's definitely one place I'll be sharing. I figure Facebook will probably be one of the bigger ones, but I'll definitely look into a couple of these other ones that you're mentioning.
You don't have to be on them. Substack is a great way to start a newsletter, to build an audience that you may not have access to otherwise, because it's worldwide and it's all based on hashtags. You gather people by the hashtags that you use. You get them to your website and they sign up for your blog or whatever, but you own their emails. That's what most people are trying to gather is emails. And it's a way to get people to start coming to you.
Got you. Yeah. I have an SEO on my website and I have webmail as well. So I have it's about 290 people following me just on my Facebook page now. A number of them have signed up for my newsletter, but it's still a small amount. So hopefully with time,
it's a start.
It'll build. That's
it will.
my hope.
All right. As an indie author and in the fantasy realm, do you offer your books in hardback?
Yes. Hardback, paperback, Kindle. And then right now I have 2 people who are doing Audible. Actually, they're some of my gaming friends. And one of the females, she's a voiceover for books. That's one of the things she does. And she's got a beautiful voice. So she agreed to do pro bono. She was very excited for me with the book and supporting me. She says, I'll pro bono your first book for you for Audible. And then another gentleman who we play with has this beautiful deep voice, which will be perfect for my dragon. And he also was going to work with her and she was going to help him. He got a coach. And so he's now also going to do it pro bono for my first book. So I'll have a male and a female doing that. So it'll come out in 2025. They're working on it now. They got the first few chapters done, but I'm very excited because they're so kind. Yeah, it saved me a lot of money. So I was like, yay, thank you so much. But I think it's going to be pretty good. I've already listened to the first chapter and I was very impressed with them. So every method that you, at least on Amazon, that you can get.
So that's the thing I don't like about Amazon is they try to limit you to their platform only. Whereas if you go to someplace like Find a Way Voices and upload your files there, it goes to Barnes and Noble. It goes worldwide, but you do you.
Yeah, it's a start.
Yes.
And they have a very wide audience. And so being an indie author, I thought it's hard enough to try to get through all the steps when you're first doing this and try not to make mistakes and lose money from scammers or whatever. And at least I knew Amazon was somewhat safe and I knew I'd have a large audience. So it was the place I wanted to start. I did do my own ISBNs. I didn't use theirs. So that kind of left me some options. And at this point in time, I'm just going to see how it works. It may not, but I figured we'll just do the best we can do and hope the marketing and advertising really works. Because I do believe that is the ticket. If your book is decent and fun, people do enjoy it. And right now my reviews have been good. So I can only hope that with the marketing, you'll get to more. And eventually I could branch out and do more and look at maybe different venues.
Check out findawayvoices.com because you can upload your own audios so long as you have your own ISBN. They send it to the libraries.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of libraries do not want anything to do with Amazon. They won't take your paper, your Kindle, none of that. So if you publish through like Ingram Sparks or Draft Digital or Findaway Voices, they get into the National Library warehouse as well as international markets such as Waterstones and Blackwells and the Canadian market and the Australian market. the German market, that sort of thing.
Ingram Spark, when I went with them, I went global
Yes.
with them, hoping that also offers that. Barnes & Noble's carrying my book here in town in Gainesville now, and Lynx is going to carry my book as well, and it's on their websites. So I haven't gone to the libraries yet because I guess you have to go through a process with them. They still want, at least in Gainesville, they want me to fill out.
Access on Ingram Spark, all you have to do is go online as a customer and request your book. You're allowed to request 3 to 5 books per month in every library in the state, and you can request your own. And they'll put it in their purchase bag. So the next time they go to purchase, they'll either get your ebook, or if your ebook is through Ingram Sparks as well, they'll get it from there.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Thank you.
I used to be an RVer, and we did work camping in every county that we stayed in. We got a library card, and I tried to keep them updated throughout the state of Florida. So I can go to each of the libraries and sign in and request my books to be added to their things.
That's a great idea. Yeah, because I was going to have to go through this process with them, evidently. So I was like, oh, yeah. And they don't tell you that.
No, they don't explain that to you, because indie authors, to them, is still quite new. However, more and more authors are learning about the Ingram Sparks library warehouse, because they have to, and the ebooks and the paperbacks and all that. Find a Way Voices is also to the library network. They send it over to Libby, and once they purchase it, not only do you get double the purchase price, the first initial buy, but they're starting to pay authors a couple of pennies for every time it's checked out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they do that in London. The library system is set up for all the authors to receive a certain amount for even their books that are checked out or read. I think it's about time. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, got time for one more question. Is there anything that you would like to change about your first book and how it came about? Is there anything you would change so far?
From a standpoint of my ability to write a longer book is not there yet. So my book is like 227 pages, about 50,000 words. Not a huge book. I wish it could be bigger, but at the same time, I really love action sequences that move the plot forward. And I don't have a lot of patience for filler. I do world building, but I don't like excessive world building either. So finding that balance is a niche. Once you get there, it feels good, but at the same time, it doesn't, for me, opt into having a larger book. So I don't know. I know some readers want for their money, they want a bigger book. I never was like that. I was like, I want whatever it is as long as it's good to read. But my publisher was like, hurry up and get the second book out. We've got all the marketing advertising. This second book, a wheel off of that. He says, now if you can make it longer. And I'm like, if I'm trying, the story is the story. So I don't know what to tell you. So I think with that, I don't know how to do that yet. I'm going to be working with an author who's sold 500,000 books. The people who helped build my website were doing an author retreat in France. And she's wonderful. She's done all the same genres that I'm doing. We're already talking on Zoom calls monthly and sharing our chapters in the next books and stuff. And she's been extremely helpful. So I'm hoping to get some inside info from her on how to improve whatever it is that I need to do to make it more enjoyable. But I still want to stick to what I like, because I think there's a lot of people who will as well. I don't want to try to chase trends. And a lot of people evidently do that to make money or try to. I want my book to sell, yes, but I want them to have their own voice and not just be chasing the crowd. So for change, yeah, it would be that. How the heck do you write longer? I don't know. That's one thing I'm going to be struggling with for a bit, I think. So.
No, I struggle that way too. I get up to about 30, 40,000 words and I'm about done.
Yeah.
I've done all I can, but you know.
Yeah, it's strange. And this one author, when she read my first book and then she's read my first couple chapters of the second book, and she's, "Oh, I love it. I see why people like it. Your story's fun." She says, "I'm thin for life, etc." She says, "But your battle scenes and everything are wonderful." She says, "I just want more. It could be longer." And I'm like, how? I don't know how. So she's going to have to help me with that. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not there yet when it comes to that. I don't know how these people make these huge books.
A.K. Rowland, the first book was a normal sized book. The second one was normal size, just about. But the third one was a little bit bigger. The fourth one, that was like an overarching story and it's huge. From then on, most of them were, but it takes a while to build up your
Yeah.
characters and your world and to get your characters in your head saying, okay, now we're going to go do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You
That
got me
might,
now.
yeah, that could definitely be some of it because, there's just only so much. I'm hoping that will come one day. That's the one thing I think I'd wish could make it a little bit longer, but at the same time, I enjoy it and others seem to as well. It's an easy read.
It's like the D&D characters. I don't know if you ever read Joel Rosenberg. There's two of them, actually. There's two Joel Rosenbergs, and they're two different people. But the first one wrote a book about the warriors where the college students fall into their world and become their
Hmm.
characters. But his books don't get bigger and bigger until almost to the end. It took him a while to build up the storyline and the backstories, start putting those in, tuck those in,
Gotcha.
and their history. And every character had a chance to be on stage at certain points and sort of stuff. But I loved his series. He passed away before he could really finish it. So I'm trying to get his relatives to put it in ebook format so I can reread them again.
Yeah. Like I say, I enjoy the action. And so I have a tendency to try not to put too much of that, but I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go along, but I'm happy with it.
Thank you for participating.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
I
Well, that was an interesting interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, we hope you will like, subscribe, comment, and share our post with your social media and your friends and family. If you're an author or anyone else in the book business and would like to be part of our podcast, we would love to have you. Check out the website, southerndragonpublishing.com, and there's a tab for the podcast. Check it out. We'll see you next time.